You see, the private Western central bankers, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, along with the Federal Reserve, can no longer hide in the economic shadows that they have always hid in before. No. Now they are front and center on the world stage for the patriots of the world to see. And what are the patriots seeing? They are seeing these corrupt individuals continually try and push them into the Great Reset, the Green New Deal, and the Build Back Better 2030 agenda that the people are just refusing to go into. You see, you couldn't tell the people that, hey, your currency, it's worthless. That, hey, the economy is going to implode. You know, you couldn't just come out and tell the people this, that they were going to try and bring us into the Green New Deal. That's a $2,000 trillion deal. The $2 trillion deal that's going to leave your great grandkids in debt with all this money they're sending overseas to other countries and not helping you, the American people that are struggling. Oh, on top of all the money we printed over C-19 and the bear flu scandal. See, nobody would believe any of this nonsense if you told them. They had to experience it themselves. You see, we tried to tell the people that if you voted for this man that is in the White House now, they're going to wreck the economy in record-breaking speed. You see, you couldn't tell them that. They were like, oh, come on, is that really going to happen? And the people of this country have had enough in just a year. They're finding it so hard to make ends meet, they're pushing back. But you see, the private Western central bankers, the deep state, their agenda is to bring us into the new Green Deal, the Great Reset. They don't care if you suffer, if fuel prices go up to $11 a gallon, if bread's at $8, if your eggs are at $7 a carton. You know, they don't care if you're suffering. They love you suffering. You see, they love to see we, the people, hurting. You see, but the people can now see this. And they no longer want to go along with the baboon and the residents in the White House. I think they're starting to understand that they've been bamboozled and played. You see, I don't think that he really did get all these votes that they said, but it's all irrelevant anyway. It's all part of the Hegelian dialectic problem, reaction, solution, and we're watching it play out. And the people, all they want back is the economy that they had under an orange guy. You see, remember, all the people have in common is the economy. But remember, these individuals wanted you locked down. But now you're back at work talking about inflations and the policies put into place that are damaging your purchasing power and your spending ability. Damaging the ability for you to provide for your families and your loved ones. You see, you weren't supposed to be roaming around in the economy. You were supposed to be locked down, but the orange guy opened it back up. It was all part of the plan. You see, we were told to wear our mask and to stand in line. Oh, they wanted a world without touch, no feeling. A world without smiles, no meaning. You see, but the people are back at work and roaming around the economy talking about inflation and how the economy is crashing and dying, and it's a controlled demolition that we're watching play out. And who is to blame? Well, these corrupt individuals that continually lie to the people. That continually hurt the people. You see, the private Western central bankers, the deep state, the corrupt politicians never expected this. They never expected things to be so clearly noticeable by the average person. They didn't expect things to move as quickly as they have. That's why they told us, don't worry, inflation is transitory, and we got this. Only then to see those same corrupt, lying individuals come back out and say, we ain't got this. Nobody foresaw this. Now we see an inflation rate of 8.6, and that's the only rate they tell us. We know it's much higher than that. A 41-year record. And they are screaming, they got this. So what you believe in your hearts, pioneers, and what you believe in your minds is so important. Because if you can see it in your mind, and if you believe it in your heart, then eventually you can hold it right here in your hand one day. About 8 months ago, at 69K Bitcoin, everyone was talking about cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is going to 100K, 300K, 500K. XRP was going to 10K. What happened? We saw everything fall and collapse. It's all by design. And it's been happening over and over and over throughout our human history. And it's going to continue to happen over and over again. Whoever controls the money and the information controls the people. But let's teach you about how the subconscious mind works. The 6 steps to how the subconscious mind works. Because no Elon Musk, no Donald Trump, no whoever the fuck you like is out here teaching you this. See, nobody is going to tell you this, Pioneer, so I decided to. See, the 6 steps to your subconscious mind is thought, belief, emotion, reticular activating system, confirmation, and conviction. If you can get a person to think something through a belief and a thought process, you can then get them emotional and then create a belief system for them, which goes into their reticular activating system, their brain, which is kind of like Google, okay, which spits out confirmations of what your beliefs centered around your emotions and thoughts, and then adds you in the end conviction. That's what you end up with throughout these 6 steps. So taking a thought, creating an emotion and a belief, which affects your reticular activating system, which then gives you conviction, and confirmation that gives you conviction in the end. If you knew that power, Pioneers, would you share that with the people, with the world? Because these elites aren't. How many of you have read the book of Thomas in the Bible? Oh, that's right, they took it out, huh? Doesn't the Vatican control what you read and don't read of the Bible? You see, the first book of Thomas says, seek and you will find. Let's paraphrase this. You'll be dismayed, and once you're dismayed, you'll be disturbed, and once you're dismayed and astonished, you'll be astonished, and once you're astonished, you'll be amazed and realize who you are. So if you knew the 6 steps, you would constantly work to control who you are, your thought process, controlling your emotions and your belief systems that you're developing, that you know is going to affect your reticular activating system, that you know is going to give you confirmation and conviction about what you're going to do in life. You see, there's winter, summer, spring, and fall. Life is a cycle. Don't get caught up in it. Know the cycle. The message today is to understand that you have control over the cycle of your thoughts and your emotions, beliefs, your reticular activating system that gives you confirmation that turns into conviction. You see, the longer you stay fundamental in your mind, the richer you become, because you realize how to create happiness. You know, maybe if you did buy Apple or Amazon years ago and held it, maybe you got wealthy. But if you're buying cryptos right now with real use case, real solve, maybe you'll become pretty wealthy in the future. But we need to get out of the state of mind of just getting rich quick and the emotional chaos that's created for us, when everything that we're witnessing play out is all by design. Like Happy Inflation Day tomorrow, the 4th of July, isn't it supposed to be Independence Day? They're trying to create and control your emotions, to create a belief into your reticular activating system to convince you that we're going to see food shortages, and we're going to see inflation and hyperinflation turn into stagflation. All that we're going to talk about today. I mean, these things are coming, but this is designed to control your thoughts so that you don't understand the game, so that you get played. Because when you understand the game, you can't be played, Pioneers. When you have their playbook, you understand that this is all nothing new under the sun. It's all happened time and time again throughout our history. 1971, etc. We witness these time periods that we're witnessing in the economy, just like now. So enjoy Happy Inflation Day tomorrow as you get ready to pay more for everything for your cookouts. We know right now the rates are through the roofs, and average households are paying $460 more a month, up since February from your $275, by the way. It's ridiculous. Ask yourself, how many of you can afford this? Many people can't afford this. And as things get worse, what is going to happen? What is going to happen in the economy? These prices are going to continue to move up, just like it did since February. Obviously, But these leaders keep saying inflation is good. Yeah, of course, for them, but not for us, okay? It takes time to realize this. They expected this to play out methodically over time, but it's happening so fast that they can no longer hide. The people can see what is going on because they're getting hit with inflation that's damaging their paychecks that they're living on week to week or their savings accounts. So the economy is falling apart and people are getting hit with inflation. Gas is through the roof. People can't make ends meet, but Biden wants to give the world $200 billion, which means the country will go even further in debt and the people will have to pay even more in taxes. How many of you can afford this? They continue to give out so much money that your great-great-great-grandkids are already in debt and they're not even born yet. So how's this going to help the people, the patriots of the world? That's right, it doesn't. We know this is a controlled demolition of the economy and we've got to prepare for it. And that's what we're teaching you here on the Daily Candle Close News. Because stagflation, just like 1971, is hitting the economy. Soon it will be double for the same label and box, double the price for the same tag, but less in volume and product. Oh, you guys, we're just gonna shrink everything you're getting right now from 24 ounces to 18 ounces. By the way, it'll probably be 15 ounces in the next month. And by the way, we need to charge you more. In the same economy, you guys. But just 2 years ago, we had more money out of our pockets. The economy and markets were raging towards the upside because they're controlled, by the way. And now we're seeing it all in a controlled demolition. You see, they wanted you at home not realizing what was going on wearing your mask. But see, if you're only worried about the economy, well then just look right here and realize that we all have the economy in common. And I guess 85% of Americans are saying that the economy is getting worse. I can't wait to see this number increase even more. It's all fantastic because we know that the debt is just through the roof and we know we're in a controlled demolition, and I guess the only choice they have is, well, raise the interest rates and turn the money printer back on. Fuck it. We have no choice. They're gonna do something to bring us out of this, and we know that it's all part of the Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. Create a problem to make the people cause a reaction and then beg for the solution that they have implemented, just like 1971. All over again, pioneers. Something I prepared you for 2 years here. So if you're somebody that's watching these markets and you're only worried about price action and the price of a crypto or a stock or whatever, then you don't even know what investing is. See, investing is the process of being able to use your data and analysis to determine when something is undervalued for a potential buying opportunity, and to also use your data and analysis to determine when a coin or a stock or investment is overvalued for a potential de-risking opportunity. And when you see something that is overvalued, you shouldn't be putting your money into that project. You need to be doing your due diligence and research to see if there's potentially going to be an area where it's less risky to get in. See, when it's overvalued, you're looking to de-risk, and when it's undervalued, you're looking to accumulate in a project. Don't blindly follow opinions. Build a skill and a craft, and then execute it. Do your own due diligence and research. We know that this space is full of unsophisticated leveraged traders and a bunch of retail mom and pop investors. And that's why we see a lot of cryptocurrencies right now and a lot of stocks right now just in a downtrend. Again, you can buy stocks as easily as clicking a button on your phone now. So many unsophisticated participants and market participants are in these markets, and we're really seeing that play out in the charts right now. We gotta pay attention to the liquidity because most people are only worried about a price, and they are only buying a crypto when it's sexy and talked about and euphoric in the price charts. That's not how pioneers attack these markets. That's not how pioneers make money in these markets. You see, most people They aren't worried about seeking generational wealth like pioneers are. They don't know what wealth truly is. They just want to get rich instead of realizing that rich is realizing I create happiness. While we are focused on generational wealth forever, protecting our wealth and hard-earned money is key. Most people only want to hit it big. They panic sell dips and buy tops though, because they don't do a due diligence around looking and viewing these markets. They let opinions of other content creators allow them to make their decisions instead of making their own decisions. So, something we've recently talked about is Bitcoin, what are you doing? It's hard to determine where the bottom is in the structure, and that's something we're potentially and patiently waiting for, that it can be a multi-day or week or month event. We could potentially be getting a relief rally from this low right here when we zoom out, because we're still setting higher lows in structure over time. So very important. We're still hanging up at the top side of this broadening wedge that we've talked about. We've had a breakout of that, and we want to see a clear support retest and a confirmed breakout back towards this 1993 range that we've shared with you all. We know Bitcoin is still under the 200 simple moving average. When we look at the things like the daily and the weekly time frame, we know that Bitcoin is still underneath these 200 simple and 223 exponential moving averages that we shared with you all here on the daily time frame that we want to keep an eye out on. We'll have to find a better Bitcoin chart to get these both up. Boom, there we go. So we're still closing weekly time frames underneath both of these multiple SMAs and EMAs. This has typically been an area where we've seen confirmed bottoms come in the market for cryptocurrencies over the last 10 plus years. So there's a great chance that the GDP is going to come out and show 2 consecutive quarters of a decline, which means a confirmed recession in the markets. And how do the Feds soften the market, or do they lengthen this drown out period even longer and just go ahead and rip the band-aid and let the dogs out to the downside so that we can get this over and done with? Because we've been in a crypto winter for 8 months, and they're just now coming out and telling you that we're getting ready to head into a crypto winter. Do you believe that? Look at the charts, do your due diligence. We know the Fed is essentially dumping the market on purpose just to strengthen the dollar, which is typically deflationary during the Shemitah year and the 7-year sabbatical release cycle that we teach you all about here. And what do we see? A deflationary dollar during this time period, just ripping towards the 4.236 Fibonacci extension and retracement level that we teach you is just a red hot overheated zone. So we live with this manipulation on a daily basis, and it's something we need to pay attention to moving forward, and understand that there are potentially a lot of buyers that can potentially jump into this market if the bulls at some point able to regain this 200 exponential and simple moving average, the 55 exponential and simple moving average, right there at around 26K or 27K. We're heading into the 27th week of the year tomorrow. So very important, today and tomorrow. So all of this is very, very important. We know essentially we divided this into, on the 2-hour time frame, was essentially dividing this into a high range, a mid-range, and a low range. We know that if we regain the mid-range, we can move to the high range. It hasn't happened yet. It obviously bull trapped down, and we could potentially be witnessing another bull trap down. We're continually setting lower highs in structure as we continue to break down on this broadening wedge to the downside. So very important that we need to pay attention to this. So let's clear this up. We know the bulls right now are fighting to put in a higher high in structure. So that's something we need to pay attention to. We're fighting to keep this higher low in structure for the bulls. So watch what the bears do in the near distant future on these lower time frames to be able to nail some of these moves. So understand that this support level of 187 is very exo and esoteric. We know we're getting ready to, in just a few days coming up, head into on 7-6 as we get ready to head into that 7-7, very powerful 77 number. We know how important that number is. They teach us this throughout history, in the Bible, other works of art, etc. But it's the 187th day of the year. We know that number is going to be tying us into the Society of Jesus. Some of the guys that help us run the show on the world stage, you guys, let's not deny it. But anyways, that 187, which we know is the penal code for murder. So very important that we pay attention to what could happen as we get ready to transition into the 187th day of the year. It is actually a day that falls on 7-6. This 76 number amazingly ties us into our pals at Skull and Bones Society from New Haven, Connecticut. So very important, that 76. So we're paying attention to this day closely coming up. So very important. It's again the transition today into 7-7. 7 times 7 is 49. We're in the 7-year sabbatical cycle. The 7th 7-year sabbatical cycle, the 49th year heading into the Jubilee year. Something we've taught you here for about a year now. So very important that we continue to make these connections. We just need to pay attention for some volume, some confirmation in volume. We need some high liquidity to come into these markets and show a clear confirmation to the upside. For upside up deals. But if we lose this 187 support, we're going to confirm a move back down to the low of the range right here at about this $18,010, $18,100, this 181 range. Why is that important for Bitcoin pioneers? Because Bitcoin is highly tied to its creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, and that's given us the 181, which is the 42nd prime number. We're in the 42nd year anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones, and they teach us that in the Bible, in Revelations, that the Antichrist reigns for 42 months. So just very exo and esoteric, this important prime number, this 42 I mean. But this 181 is where Bitcoin fell to after hitting a low of around 17.5 and then gravitated and closed every candle above this support. So that's where we'll gravitate back down to if we break this 187. If this is broken, then 17.5, obviously, the wick, and 16.3, or that 169, very eso and exoteric. 1 times 69 is 69. Bitcoin hit a 69K top, okay? But that 161, the golden ratio of phi, something we've shared with you all here, the golden ratio of phi, so very important. Mathematical equation here. So something we pay attention to. Let me get a drink of water, excuse me. Alright, but enough said. We're obviously looking to see if we can hold support at the top side of this descending, broadening wedge trend line. And just multiple 2-hour confirmations of that, 2-hour confirmations of holding support above this 187, and then a break above this 193 for a potential retest after support to break back up towards around this 21 top side of our range where we haven't been able to show consistent closes above to be bullish yet. Or, do we get rejection to ultimately come back down before then going up? Who knows? But if we continue to set higher lows in structure, then that's going to be bullish moving forward on the 2-hour time frame, and showing that consistent with the RSI as well, that's going to be bullish as well. One thing to take note of on the 2-hour time frame on the RSI is how we're looking to hold support above this signal line in this 50 to 55 range on the median. Again, why is the median 55 range for the RSI for Bitcoin important? Because Satoshi Nakamoto gives us that 55. So I use the RSI. I'm not bullish until we get above 55. So just very, very important we keep that in our mind. Let's see how that plays out. There was another range that we recently spoke about on Bitcoin for a potential possible trend reversal, or looking for a pattern of deviations. And that's something we spoke about in one of our last videos. We were looking at this all as something very similar to this time period back here, but we saw that we fell below our bottom side support. We bounced back above, but ultimately came back down, and we failed to get back above that since. So what I was talking about in my last video was how we were just doing the same thing throughout this time period, where we held this as support until we fell. We see this a little bit different. This was about a month or so, and right now this isn't as long. Obviously, it's about half that time period, 14 heading into 15 days roughly, plus or minus. So we'll have to continue to see how this plays out. Could we come down and retest these ranges, this 161, this 171, this 17.5 that we talked about? Possible. We know that, we could double bottom before coming back up. So very important. We don't have to do that. I'm just, it's hypothetical right there. But one thing I was pointing out with you guys is pay attention to the possible bear traps and bull traps. Obviously, we see that this was a bear trap that punished the bears because everybody thought it might go lower, but the bulls took action and brought it up. Then the bulls got punished to the bottom of our support, vice versa. Pay attention to these trend reversals and deviations. Okay, this right here deviated. Alright, most people would have saw this as a breakout. When we were finally able to get above our resistance, they wanted to see us come back, hold as support, and then boom. But we knew right here this was around that 32,200 range, the 322, tying us into our skull and bones, pals. We knew what the markets were going to do right here. Boom. We then fell straight down to $30,022. It was just perfect, okay? And then pumped back up, didn't even get higher than our previous high in the structure. So that was the most important key, that we were gonna bull trap again, and we did. Same thing. And then we broke support of this $30,022, the 322, and fell all the way down to 22,300, 22,400. Why is that 22,400 important? Satoshi Nakamoto, 224. 22,300, skull and bones. We know this, our lizard pals. So just something we're continually reiterating in these ranges. We know why we're here. So it's pay attention to the signals moving forward. If we get back above this support the support line that we are now treating as resistance, but if we get back above this over the next couple 2-hour time frames and hold it as support over the next day or so, we could potentially retest this top side at around 22K. But if we get rejected, then we could potentially just come back down, double tap, or even set a lower low in structure to around that 17,000, that 161. So just very important. Something I'm ultimately just trying to reiterate into your minds, because I think it's potentially coming up, you guys. I think there could be some more downside. Could it happen now, or potentially more towards September, November, October? That's possible as well. So we got two different scenarios playing out right here. So we definitely want to see if we can get a bounce off of this, a breakthrough and a bounce off of this as support to potentially long your favorite altcoins in the market back up to this area. Not financial advice. So something I'm sharing with you all moving forward is just paying attention to how Bitcoin dominance is looking. Obviously, it's something we talked about. We know we broke out into a bull pennant and a bull flag, to see it then a breakout into a rising wedge, or whatever you want to call it, before we broke out above our resistance going back in time that we had. We broke out to around that 48, 47 range, and then boom, we came all the way back down to our parallel channel. Something I shared with you all, how I thought would be very important, was to pay attention to how we reacted to it, if we were to see that. And we did. We fell straight to the median. We came back around the top side, fell down to the bottom, shot back up, and ultimately now we're seeing how we're going to react to the bottom side of this parallel channel, something that goes back quite some time on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So we know Bitcoin dominance has always been in a downtrend basically since its inception in the markets. So that's something I want to pay attention to, is do we potentially just continue to even push down here to set an even lower low ultimately over time for this Bitcoin dominance chart to potentially give us a rally in the altcoin market. We'll just have to continue to see how this plays out. All right, let's talk about a few days coming up before we get too deep into cryptocurrency and its technical analysis anymore. Something we're obviously talking about today is Happy Independence Day, but we're going to call that Inflation Day here on the Daily Candle Close News. And something I want to share with you all is how we see Independence Day down here gives us that 74, which is happening tomorrow on the 7th month, 4th day every year. All very powerful, but see, this 277 is the 59th prime number, and this year is happening in the year of the tiger, and tiger gives us 59 in numerology right here. And not only that, is Independence Day this year on the 7th month 4th day, which is the 277 we get when we type that out, the 59th prime number, we get this 70 right here. And we know this year is the Shemitah, which gives us 70 in English ordinal when we use gematria numerology. And also, it's all about the 18 and the 7-year sabbatical cycle. When we type out Shemitah, we get 18, and Independence Day gives us 61, which is the 18th prime number. And I know you're asking, John, why are you bringing all of this up? Because it's very important. Independence Day tomorrow, something I shared with you all earlier, was we're starting to see the economy really start to get hit with inflation. So happy Inflation Day tomorrow. And it's amazing when you type out the word inflation, you get that very important 53 that I've told you all was a very important number, because 5 times 3 is 15, and we're in the year of the tiger, 15. 3 times 5, 15. We're in the year of the tiger, 15. So I expect to see inflation really start to hit the economy tomorrow moving forward, because 53 is what tomorrow, Independence Day, adds up to this year. 7 plus 4 plus 20 plus 22 is 53. It's truly amazing, leaving 180 days left in the year. So the halfway point of this year, it's all coming back full circle. The rest of this year is we're going to see more and more inflation and stagflation start to hit our purchasing power and our paychecks that we're living on week to week, etc. This is a very important day tomorrow, because it's 2 months and 22 days from the end of Rosh Hashanah and the Shemitah. So our next Rosh Hashanah and the Jewish Hebrew New Year of this year, 2022, will start on 9/27, the following day. So very important that we pay attention and just continue to make these connections. We know this 222 because obviously tomorrow is a 2 month and 22 day connection to the end of the Shemitah, the 7-year sabbatical cycle, which is bringing all this chaos to the markets and the economy. We know this is all order out of chaos. Just something I've got to continue to share with you all moving forward. So don't get lost in the sauce and pay attention to what's going on. It's all by design to get you broke, lost, distracted, and confused, and, well, to steal your savings, because that's what they're after. So as we get ready to head into 7.5, we know cryptocurrency, when you type that out, it gives you 75. It's a very important time period as well, but 7.6 is a day that we've talked about, and obviously we're going to pay attention to that. It gives us the 55 when added up. We know Satoshi Nakamoto gives us 55 in numerology, so we know how important C19 was on the world stage. It's all very important, but this being a 2 month, 20 day connection, we're in the 2022 year. This is a day that, well, 11 weeks and 5 days to the end of Rosh Hashanah and the Shemitah, Lucifer gives us 115. So this is an important time period as well, and it's transitioning us into Thursday, the 7-7 connection. So something we'll pay attention to, just very exo and esoterically. This obviously is an 81 day time period. 81 is the mirror of 18. We're in the Shemitah, 18. And it adds up to 56 in numerology this day. So this is a very, very important time period that we're transitioning into that could potentially be pretty volatile for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin moving forward. So we just want to pay attention to some of the ranges that we've shared lately. We fell back into our liquidity zone, and if we don't get back above this 1993 range, again, 1993 was a Shemitah year, then we're not going to see this $22,030 range, this $22,003 range, this $22,300 range, where the top side of this range is. So we could obviously gravitate towards that 16K range, that 16.1, or potentially break down into these lower ranges, all the way down to around $9,900. So if we were to see that, great buying opportunity, not financial advice. We're going to get signs of that with, the dollar raging to the upside, etc. Bitcoin dominance. We're going to be able to pay attention to these indicators that we're teaching you to see how these coins are moving, etc. So pay attention to the dollar, pay attention to the stock market, pay attention to Bitcoin, etc. One other thing I want to bring up. Alright, we'll go to it now. Was XRP earlier. It was just boom. It had a breakout. Everybody wants to scream about the partnerships and the SEC lawsuit and the nonsense and the minutia and monotony, and we're still in a downtrend setting lower highs over time. So we want to pay attention to that. But right here on the 2-hour time frame, we were able to see this not too long ago, a few hours ago, pump up to around this 32.4 range, and then come straight back down and set here for quite some time at around this 322, this skull and bones 322. And this has been a very important level playing out back in time, this 322. Obviously on this 2-hour time frame that I've been paying attention to. When we hold support above this 322 for XRP, look what happens. We just rip to the upside. When we obviously don't hold support and we start treating 322 as resistance, well, we're able to short XRP to the downside. Not financial advice. But we're still looking at Ethereum. We want to see it get, obviously, we're right there at 171. We've shared with you all how when you type out Vitalik Buterin, the creator and co-founder of Ethereum, he gives you 173. So I want to see Ethereum get right here, right back at above this $1,073. So if we can see it hold support at around 173, we can potentially see Ethereum continue to move up. Obviously, we're still setting higher lows in structure. Paying attention to the RSI as well. Right now, we're pretty bullish on Ethereum right now. Short term for a potential rally into a potential lower low in the structure at the end of the year. Not financial advice. Just sharing that with you. Things like VeChain that are essentially just oversold. Sitting right there around that 224, that 223 area. Not financial advice, but we've been accumulating VeChain. Stacking the bags, backing the truck up, loading it and stacking it. Same thing with Zilliqa. We know this was a project we got to de-risk in not too long ago when we saw this go absolutely euphoric. We were able to de-risk right there at around that 22-cent range in the year of the 2022, and now we're back down here at around 3 cents. Not financial advice, you guys, but look at this. From our recent high, this cryptocurrency with real use case utility is down 85%. Down almost 88% total. Not financial advice. But when we look at things like, DOT, Polkadot, and we've just fell through all of our accumulation ranges and just holding a consistent accumulation consolidation range right here around this $6.70, this $6.60, that 66, very exoteric number. Pay attention. Stellar lumens, same thing, underneath all of our previous accumulation ranges that we've talked about going back in time. Algorand is still down 35 cents from where we previously talked about it. A great accumulation opportunity. Not financial advice. Is it the low? Who knows? Nobody cares. Chainlink is still sitting there at a great opportunity to accumulate. Just consistently setting structures sideways, horizontally. We want to see cryptocurrencies building structure sideways. That is bullish. It's boring, but it's accumulation and great packing opportunities, not financial advice. ADA, we could still see fall to that 22 cents that I'm looking to reaccumulate at, not financial advice. But that 223, look at that. I mean, if we would look at this on the daily time frame, you would understand. But that 223 range, it's just taking us right back to this wick area where I really think we're about to come and refill out. I mean, we never filled this out, and we don't have to, but if we would have filled this out back in time, I don't think we would fall to it now. But potentially right here at around this area, I'm looking to see us possibly reaccumulate at 22 to 28 cent, ADA, not financial advice. So with all that being said, I'm going to leave this video here, sending you all much love and high vibrations out to wherever you are in the matrix and galaxy. Pioneers, stay prepared and keep yourself understanding what's going on in the economy, that the world is a stage and it's all planned out. Okay, because when you understand finance, you understand what's really going on. And when you understand what's really going on, you understand everything's planned out. So pioneers, take this time period to build your fortress, build your legacy. Do the due diligence and do the hard work. Nothing comes to those who just ask for it. You have to do the work. So take care and God bless. Pioneers rise, build your fortress and build your legacy.